Hello and good evening to all of you. Gandhiji led three movements in our country. The very first one was non-cooperation 1920. The second is civil disobedient movement 1930, and the last and final 1942 Quit India movement. Today I would like to discuss this second one 1930. So as we know, it happens in 1930. So why it happens? If you recall the incident in 1927, that is called Simon Commission report, it has been rejected. It has been rejected outrightly by all these stakeholders. And when this report was rejected, at that time Lord Irwin challenged to the Congress that if you are not accepting this report, then why you yourself don't bring any constitutional advancement? And within a year, Indian National Congress brings the Nehru report. Nehru report in 1928. You can say the challenge was accepted. And when this report was placed, through this report, the INC challenged to the British government that if you are not executing this report within a year, then we will start a very strong movement against you. And when it was brought in 1920, and after the warning of 1 year, in 1929, in Lahore session, INC Lahore session in December 1929, it was told that look, the British government has not accepted this Nehru report. This report has not been executed. That's why we are not left with any option other than initiating this civil disobedient movement. And that's how Gandhiji starts his journey from Sabarmati to Dandi, called Salt Satyagraha. Salt Satyagraha. It was 390 kilometer barefoot journey. Gandhi had 78 followers with him. And the journey was started when?
12 March.
12th of March, and Gandhi reached on the coast on 6th of April. 6th of April. After covering such a long distance, 390 kilometers with 78 followers, and when he reached, he broke the salt law. Breaking the salt law means at that time everybody did not have the power to make the salt. There was a proper procedure, proper legislation. The way you cannot sell liquor nowadays, in the same way you cannot because salt was a very big source of revenue of the British government. At that time, British government was generating 10% revenue from the salt only. People might be thinking, why Gandhi chose the salt one? So the reason is very simple. Because we human beings, we can live without adding sweet in our diet, but we cannot live without adding salt in our diet. And this salt is consumed almost all the people of this world. The sweets, sometimes it is beyond the reach of the poor people. But since salt is the very basic necessity, and I don't think there is any least costliest thing present in your kitchen than the salt one. So these were some of the things which were going on into the mind of Gandhiji, and he thought that salt will be a very strong medium to connect the people of this country, to bind them into one thread. And he reached there and he makes the salt and he breaks the salt law. As Gandhi breaks the salt law, reaching Dandi, the flood of movement occurs in India. The same salt law was broken in a place called Malabar by K. Kalappan. The same salt law was broken in Tanjore by C. Raj Gopala Chari. The same salt law was broken in Dharsana, and under the banner of this civil disobedience, a protest happens in northwestern portion of our country. A protest happens in Manipur, which was led by Rani Gadgillu. And protest happens in many more places. In Assam, that is known as the Cunningham Circular. So all these places came under the effect of this civil disobedience movement. So we will discuss one by one. Let me start with the Dharsana. Dharsana. Look, people may not be aware about this Dharsana, what the hell this Dharsana is. But let me tell you, in 1930, when this movement was being led by Gandhiji, in 1930 there was hardly any place more famous than the Dharsana. This place was reported by more than 100 media houses in the world, and this place was reported by more than 1,350 newspapers across the globe. So what actually happened in this Dharsana, why it became so special that it came in the center stage? So in Dharsana, this is a place inside the Valsad district of Gujarat. Valsad. And in Dharsana also the salt law was broken by whom? By the wife of Gandhiji, Kasturba, and with him 76 years old, I think retired law officer or judge Tayyabji. They both broke the law in Dharsana, salt law, but what happens, shortly they were arrested by the British government, by the British forces. And as they got arrested, the reign reached into the hands of Sarojini Naidu, and one more person was there. The name is Sarojini Naidu. And in this Dharsana, what happens, that the kind of peaceful protest happens, it had never been witnessed anywhere in the world. Not before that, and not, I think, after this incident. Because police force was standing, they had a rod, and one point of the rod was connected with the steel, and the protesters, the Indians, they were standing in the queue. Why they were standing in the queue? Because the forces, they were hitting the pole on their head, and people were standing in the queue waiting for their attempt, as if some sort of money is being distributed, or some blankets are being distributed. but they were standing to get beaten by the police forces. This kind of incident, it was completely incredible. How can anybody stand to get beaten? And force was hitting the pole on their head, and the whole head of the people who were protesting, it was getting covered with the blood. There was a journalist whose name was James Miller. He wanted to report all the incident which happened here, because he told that I have never seen throughout my journalistic career such a peaceful protest witnessed by the Indians, where the police force is hitting the pole and they are standing in the queue to get beaten. And when he wanted to tell whatever he has witnessed through his newspaper and through his writings, believe me, the British government threatened James Miller that no, you cannot report the incident which happened here. But James Miller, he was very adamant in his journalistic ethos, and he told that if you will not allow me to publish the report, I will release it somehow in the world media and you will be exposed like anything. Let me cut the long story short. The James Miller releases the report, his articles were published, and that's how it was known to the people what actually had been committed by the British government in the name of the peaceful protest by Indians. So that's why Dharsala in the history of independence India has a very unique place to remember. The same situation happens. There is a place, one of my most favorite place, by the way, I have never visited there, but after getting this job, I think if that will be my first destination, and that is called the Manipur. The Phumadi Lake, Loktak in Bishnupur district. Recently, the incident happened. So nowadays, Manipur is in news, but not for a good reason. Despite of the fact, it is very close to the heaven in terms of its greenery and in terms of many other things. So in Manipur, there was a lady whose name was Rani Gad Gillu. Rani Gad Gillu. She was a Naga spiritual leader who led the movement in Manipur under the banner of this civil disobedient movement started by Gandhiji. So this Rani Gad Gillu, she was only 16 years old when she led the movement and started protesting against the British government in Manipur. By the way, later on this movement was converted in the form of a political movement, and Britishers were asked to not only leave Manipur but to leave the country. So this Rani Gad Gillu, she was only 16 years old. So you can understand in such a small age what kind of courage she had shown to the people of this country. And when the protest was started by this Rani Gad Gillu, she was captured by the British force and placed inside the bars. And she spent her 16 years of her life behind the prison only. So the most beautiful, the most prime stage as she at the age of 15 and plus 16, so you can understand almost 31 or 32 years of her life, you can say, means is spent like in this manner. So this Rani Gadgillu, let me tell you one more thing about this Rani Gadgillu. The title Rani, it was given by Jawaharlal Nehru when she came out of the jail, and she was a very stylish lady. Why she was stylish? Because when you see her picture, you will see wearing a black colored turban and a very beautiful scarf around her neck, and wearing the Ray-Ban sort of glasses. This is not the situation of present time. I'm talking, 1930. So at that time, by the way, these northeastern people are much more advanced than any UP wala or from Bihar in terms of many more things, especially in terms of education. As when the Christianity came, I think they were the first places which were targeted. But due to some geographical constraints, economic underdevelopment, they are not in a very, you can say, economically sound situation. You can, when you go to these states, you can find some of the graduates who are pulling the rickshaw, because the employment opportunities are not there. By the way, ever since this government came, they are trying their level best. These places have been connected through railways and all these things. Recently, the Unity Mall has been proposed by the government of India, I think in Guwahati in Assam. Alright, so this was something about the Rani Gadgillu, who sacrificed the most prime years of her life to serve the nation. One more incident happens under the banner of civil disobedient movement, that is related to the northwest frontier province. We may have heard the name of Khan Abdul Ghaffar Khan. Khan Abdul Ghaffar Khan. He is also known as the Frontier Gandhi. And what were they doing in northwestern portion of our country? Basically, look, this Khan Abdul Ghaffar Khan, he had an army, so many followers, you can say, and they were called what? The red shirt. Why red shirt? Why not yellow, black, or any other color? Look, I mean, I read somewhere that initially they used to wear the white shirts, but white shirt was getting dirty little earlier in comparison to any other color. It is very difficult to maintain the white color. That's why only politicians in our country they can manage it. So initially they used to wear the white one, but it was getting dirtier little early. As a result, what happened that they changed their dress and started wearing the red one. What was the main job of these people? That they wanted to bring that northwestern portion, this Pakistan and connected one, into the mainstream of the development. They wanted to remove all the social inequalities. They wanted to remove all the social evilness. They wanted to remove any obstruction which was coming before the people. So all these kinds of things, starting from untouchability and anything which comes under this social evilness and social stigma. So they had a very wonderful objective before their eyes. And what happens when this civil disobedience was started, these people, what they did, that they also started protesting against the Britishers. And there is a place called Khwani Kissa Bazaar. Khwani Kissa Bazaar. The lineage of Shah Rukh Khan is also related with this Khwani Kissa Bazaar. So in this Khwani Kissa Bazaar, what happens, that the supporters of the Khan Abdul Ghaffar Khan and the British force, they clashed with each other and 400 people died. I think it will be better to start this exhaust. Okay, exhaust is already it is on. Anyway, so this northwest 400 people were killed in this clash. And in history, this incident is known as Khwani Kissa Massacre. Khwani Kissa Massacre. So it happens during the time of civil disobedience movement in northwestern portion of India, because the British force has done something to Khan Abdul Ghaffar Khan and his followers. They started protesting, and the British force, when the clash happened, so you know the British forces had everything well equipped with the modern ammunitions and everything. So what happened? 400 people, they lost their life. So this Kissa, Khwani Kissa Massacre. The last one of my today's lecture is related to the Cunningham Circular. Cunningham Circular. Look, Cunningham was a public information officer in Assam, and what he was expecting, that the students of this area, they should not participate in the movement, because the energy of a student is uncontrollable. I always say that youth is the only catalyst who can change the dynamics of this Indian politics. So Cunningham wanted to take control over the students, and what he told, that he invited the parents of the students and told them that you please give me in written manner that no any student will participate in the movement in Assam, and if they are participating, then their names will be cut from the college and wherever they are studying. So parents, you know, they are always concerned about the education of their children, because they believe education is that thing where investing the money gives the best interest in the future. So what happens, that initially the parents signed the documents that okay, we will not let our children participate in the movement. But once the movement starts, you know, once the flood comes, then it does not see this house belongs to whom and this house belongs to whom. So as the protest, you can see, you know, because already the situation was very tensed in other parts of our country. So what happens, that they, despite of the fact that the parents of the children, they signed, but when they found the scope, the students started the movement and they participated, and they formed called Vanar Sena of the, you can say, male students, and Manjari Sena, cat army of the girls, and they revolutionized the whole Assam. Cunningham became very, very upset. But as the students were related to education. So what happens? This was the time when the first University of Northeast was opened. It was established. That is called Kamrup University. In Assam, Kamrup University. Rai Bahadur Kalicharan Das Sen Gupta. The name is little longer. Rai Bahadur Kalicharan.
Sen Gupta.
Yes, Sen Gupta. He was the founder of the first Northeastern University, which was established in Assam as Kamrup during this civil disobedient movement. So the problem of education was also resolved, which had been established by the Cunningham. So I just want to tell that in this civil obedience movement, by the way, some other incidents also happened, but it is not possible for me to discuss all of them. This one happens, and as you know, everywhere the protest was happening, from every corner, the pressure was being created over the British government, and believe me, British government, it could not bear the pressure. And because of this unbearable pressure, what happened? That majority of the people, they were thrown behind the bars. Even then, the pressure was not completely controlled, and what happened? That Britishers, they had to start a term called Round Table Conference. The Lord Irwin convinced to Gandhi that, look, you please stop this movement and you participate with us in the Round Table Conference. This was told on the 5th March 1931, which is known in history as Gandhi-Irwin Agreement. The main objective of this Gandhi-Irwin Agreement was Irwin wanted to convince to the Gandhi that, look, you please stop this movement and please have a discussion with us. So in the first round table conference, Gandhi does not go there, but the second one, which happens in 1931, Gandhi reaches there. The term round table conference, why it is important? Because it happened for the first time in the history of India that round table conference was arranged. Why it is not the rectangular table? Or why not any hexagonal or any octagonal? Why it is only round table? Because look what happens when the structure of the table is like this. You can relate the movie Bhagwan. And Amitabh Bachchan is sitting here, and his notorious sons are sitting on this side and that side. So you will naturally get to know that the person who is sitting here, he is the head of the family. So if he is head, it means the rest of the people are the subordinate. By the way, if someone is coming here also, then it will be difficult to, but don't take this one. So you will naturally understand that he is the head. But if anyone is sitting, if people are sitting in circular manner, then you please tell me who is the head and who is the subordinate. And this concept is followed even now by the tribal communities. You go in the tribal areas and you will see their houses are arranged in the circular manner, because they believe in equality more than any highly educated person in our country. So this roundtable conference, Gandhi sat with the British representative, the king, and if Indian INC stockholders and other people are sitting, so it means there was a great possibility, because when you are discussing on the equal manner, there is a possibility that you may get some good results, some outcomes, but it does not happen. You know, there is a saying that I went मैं रोटी मांगने गया और मुझे पत्थर मिला, something this kind of a statement was told by Gandhi. I went to get the bread but a stone was given to me. Okay, you can exactly what is the translation, you can do it. So I just want to tell that this was something about the civil disobedient movement. In my next lecture I will discuss what are the characteristics of the round table conferences and how they shaped the further constitutional advancement of our country. Namaskar.